Welcome to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Nick Geber, your host. Find me on Twitter, at Nick Geber. You can see it right there if you're watching us. Today is January the 3rd, 2020. What am I doing? 2020, of course. Happy Nakatsenendian Tona Day. If you're from Armenia, we know you're celebrating crazily. We're celebrating sports here. That's right, we have a full show, lots of free picks for you, as we always do. And we're here with you Monday through Friday, live 4 p.m. on the East and 1 p.m. Pacific. Today, we're covering NBA with Al Ninos. We're going to talk about Portland, Washington, Atlanta, Boston, 76ers, Rockets, and the Knicks and the Suns. And then we'll do a little college basketball, Wisconsin, Ohio, Georgetown, Seton Hall. And we'll top it off with a discussion about the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Not quite sure what's famous there, the bowl, the potatoes, or do you put potatoes in a bowl? I don't know. And we'll talk about some NFL rapid fire with Tony El Tigre, Comandante Tony El Tigre Tellez, and Craig El Guapo Trapp. That's what we're going to talk about today. Look, we give away a lot of free picks on the show every day that we're on. And you can get them all. If we don't get a game you want, you can find them just about every game you could possibly want at picksandparlays.net. We have free picks, and then when you're ready, our expert handicappers are there ready for you. All you got to do is pick up their expert picks, put them in your basket, and we still have our 15% off special. Use promo code BOWL. Look, we'd love to hear from you during the show. All you have to do is fill out the comments section on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you can't find us, just hashtag Parlay Radio or search Picks and Parlays. That's where we are. And if you miss any part of this show with all these juicy, delicious free picks we give you, you can always head to our podcast immediately following the show at the Believe Podcast Network, BLEAV. All right, that's what's on tap for today. I'm going to try to get over my holiday hangover. I'm going to kick it all off when we come back right after this. Welcome back to the show, Picks and Parlays, here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and of course live at picksandparlays.net. I'm Nick Geber. Find me on Twitter, at Nick Geber. It is 2020, contrary to what I just said in the first segment, because I'm still hungover, but you know how that is. Lots of celebrations. But it is January 3rd. We are talking NBA for Friday. Let's get down and dirty with it. Let's bring in our expert handicapper, Al Ninos. Al, welcome to the show. And I know you got me on 2 of the 3 Premier League picks, but I got you on Watford. You were convinced it was going to be Wolves.
Yeah, well, we can't win them all. And you've been getting me up to this week. But yeah, as you said, finally got you for once. So
Yeah, you got your own back. Makes you feel good, but don't feel too good because I'm coming for you next week, okay? All right, Ninos, let's get to it, shall we? NBA, let's start with the New York Knickerbockers at the Phoenix Suns. The Knickerbockers 10-24, 8-16 against the spread. They won the last 3 in a row. Most recently, listen to me, I'm Barbara Walters. Most recently, a 117-93 win over the Portland Trail Blazers. They're 5-12 straight up, 10-7 against the spread on the road. Dennis Smith, Elfrid Payton, both unlikely to play this game. The total's gone under and for the last 5 for the Knicks. And for the Suns, 13-21, 9-14-1 against the spread. They went 5-10 in December, and they lost 117-107 to the Lakers to start the new year. They're 6-12 straight up, 9-8-1 against the spread at home. Frank Kaminsky's out, but Ricky Rubio should be back. The total's gone over in 5 of the last 7 for the Suns. They are 6.5-point favorites. Didn't get a total on it. How do you see this one, Ninos? You like Phoenix 6.5-point favorites here?
No, at this point, I wouldn't be laying that many points with Phoenix. You know, they just won 2 of their last 10 games, and that's not a number I'm willing to lay this many points with. especially against a Knicks team that's, stepped their game up a little bit lately, and they've been a lot more competitive and actually winning some games lately. So
Even on the
could
road?
potentially see it. They are just 5-12 on the road, but they are 9-7 against the spread as road dogs. So they have been covering on the road as underdogs, and so I'm taking the points with the Knicks here. And we might actually get a better number on this closer to game time. It's opened at +5.5, and I see it at +6.5 now.
Yeah, I have it at +6.5, so it's widened up a bit. Right. Okay. All right. Let's move to the next one. Interesting game, this one. I was going to talk Philly-Houston, then I was going to switch just to really make everybody mad. But no, let's do it. The 76ers, the Houston Rockets. Philly 23-13, 16-19-1 against the spread. They came off the boil of late, actually. They're on a 3-game loser right now. Most recently, a 97-115 loss to the Pacers. They're 7-11 straight up. They also get a nice coffee and a big gulp there. 7-10-1 against the spread away from home. Joel Embiid likely to play, but James Ennis is doubtful, so you trade one for the other, but I think they'd be happy to have Embiid back. Totals over in 6 of the last 8 games. The Rockets 23-11, 17-17 against the spread, coming off a 130-104 win against the Nuggets. They're 12-4 straight up, 8-8 against the spread at home. They're ranked second in scoring at 119.41 points. And versus the 76ers, they've gone under in the last 6. And the Rockets are 4-point favorites. Are they underestimating the 76ers a bit here, Al? Because, I mean, we talked about how they came off the boil, but this is still a 23-13 team.
Yeah, and it might have something to do with their 3-game losing streak they're on right now. But that being said, 2 of those losses have been by just 1 point to Orlando and Miami, a very good Miami team. So I do think, with Embiid expected back for this one, I do think they keep it close at least, if not even pull the upset. The Rockets are pretty good. They are 12-4 straight up at home. So they might not pull the upset off here. But again, the Rockets just 8-8 against the spread as home favorites, and the Sixers 3-1 as against the spread as road dogs. So I'm taking the points with the Sixers here in what should be the most competitive match of the night, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Should be a good one. I've enjoyed watching the Sixers play this season, and the Rockets, 2 fun teams to watch. So just from a fan's perspective, it should be a great game too. All right, let's move on to one that's probably not going to be quite nearly as exciting. The Portland Trailblazers at the Washington Wizards. The Trailblazers lost 5 in a row most recently, a 93-117 loss to the Knickerbockers. They're 6-12 straight up, 7-11 against the spread away from home. 3-point shooting is what's kept this team relevant, quite frankly. If they didn't have it, God knows what their record would be. It'd be pretty awful. Total's gone over in 4 of the last 5 at Washington. And as for the Wizards, 3-7 straight up in the last 10, coming off a 101-122 loss to the Magic. Bradley Beal is doubtful to play, and he's going to join a very long list of injuries. I think I counted 6 or 7 players that were out indefinitely. They're 5-9 straight up, 6-8 against the spread at home. Total's gone over in 6 of the last 7. Yet, on the road, the Trailblazers are 5-point favorites on the road. That, and they're on a 5-game losing streak? Al.
Yeah, another, questionable line, I guess. I think we're just getting a few too many points here. I mean, it's hard to back the Blazers. They have a lot of talent on their roster, and I just don't know how they can't get anything together here. 5-game losing streak, as you mentioned, and not looking great. The Wizards, the big question mark, obviously, as you mentioned, is Beal. I do like this play a lot more with Beal playing.
Yeah.
But Wizards plus 5.5 looks like the play to me. Portland, they're just 3-5 against the spread as road favorites. Wizards 4-4 against the spread as home dogs. I think they come out to play and keep this one close again.
All right, so, there you have it.
Points for the Wizards.
All right, well, we got one more game. Let's go ahead and do this one. Let's just talk about the game because I don't know if we have a line on it yet. Let's talk about it. The Atlanta Hawks, 7-27. Oh, God, that stinks just even saying it. 14-20 against the spread. Their 101-93 win over the Magic just snapped a 10-game losing streak. 10 games. They're 4-15 straight up, 6-13 against the spread away from home. Jabari Parker and Trae Young, both likely to play. Now, that is definitely going to help the Hawks. They've been, it doesn't help that they've got two of their better players that, not playing. Total's gone under in 6 of the last 9, but the Celtics, a slightly different record, 23-8, 19-10 against 19-10-2 against the spread, 7-3 in their last 10, including a 109-92 win over the Hornets, 13-2 straight up, 9-5-1 against the spread at home. Kendall Walker is doubtful. Jaylen Brown is probable. Total has gone over in 7 of the last 9 against the Hawks. No points on this one. No line either. Clearly Celtics going to be big home favorites here.
Yeah, they have to be. I think they're just trying to figure out a line big enough for this game, because I don't know if they can get one, because as you mentioned, some great numbers by the Celtics. They lead the league against the spread, and they're also 8-5-1 against the spread as home favorites. As Atlanta, fourth from the bottom against the spread at 14-20, and just 6-12.
I'd like to just suck, to use a technical term.
Yeah, 6-12 against the spread as road dogs. So can't even. I'm sure they've been getting lots of fat lines too, and they can't even cover those. So Celtics just playing much better basketball than a much more talented team, and I like them to win by at least double digits here. So
double-digit win for the Celtics. Yeah. Al, always a pleasure. What do you got up at Picks and Parlays right now?
I had a few plays today. These are some very competitive games, so trying to pick the best ones out of this bunch for tomorrow. There's some good hockey on tomorrow as well. We got the bowl games wrapping up, and some great NFL games coming up too. So lots of great games coming up on the site.
All right, Al Ninos, always a pleasure. You can find Al along with 34 other of our top handicappers at picksandparlays.net. If you want to peruse some of Al's expert picks, you can do that right now. Go to picksandparlays.net. Put his picks in your shopping basket, and a special, just because we like you, I'm kind of feeling happy and good, and we still got a little bit of holiday good cheer left. 15% off. You heard me right. 15% off. Promo code BOWL. BOWL. All right, I'm going to step aside, take a break, and I'll be right back with Chip Chicken Dinner Chirimbes. We're going to talk college basketball and a bowl game. Be right back. All right, welcome back to the show, Picks and Parlays, here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. Also streaming live, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course live at picksandparlays.net. I'm Nick Geber. Great to be with you. We'd love for you to participate during these broadcasts, and you can do that by commenting in the comment box on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, hashtag Parlay Radio, or just search and you will find us there. Let's change it up a little bit. It's time for some NFL rapid fire. Of course, we have the Wildcard games. Let's talk AFC Wildcard Saturday. Let's bring in our two expert handicappers, Tony Comandante El Tigre Tellez and Craig El Guapo Trapp, with his hat on backwards. That is a violation of Picks and Parlays dress code. Trapp, you know that. We don't do any of that sort of stuff here, and you better not have sagging pants. Okay, gentlemen, looking good. I hope you both had a wonderful New Year's celebration and are not too hungover to give our viewers and listeners some quality picks. Are we okay with that, guys? Tell us.
I'm okay with it. I feel great.
All right, Trapp, you feeling good?
I drank a lot of water, so I'm good to go today.
Okay, all right. Let's start. Titans or Patriots. The Tennessee Titans, 9-7 against the spread. They went 5-2 the last 7 to close out the season strong. Nice 35-14 win over the Texans. And guess what, folks? It's wild card time for the Titans. Tennessee offense was ranked 3rd in rushing yards, 4th in yards per play. Look, they lost the preseason game against the Patriots, but, that's preseason, so what does that mean? 3 wide receivers possibly out in Adam Humphries, Khalif Raymond, and Cody Hollister. And Adoree Jackson's definitely out. Love that name, Adoree. 5-3 straight up and against the spread away from home. And the Pats, what is this? Wait, are they waking up from a daze? So they're going, we had too much to drink over New Year's. Someone telling me we're in a wild card game? No, this has got to be a joke, right? But it's not. They can thank Miami. Oh, wasn't that great, guys? I just love it. All right, so that upset loss at Miami meant that they're third seed. They're going to go to face the Kansas City Chiefs if they win this game, which is a tough outing, by the way, if that happens. They're 6-2 at home, 2-4 against the spread in the last 6. Pats, less than a touchdown favorite, total 43.5. Let's start with you, Trapp. Fire away.
Well, it might be Adoree Jackson, but you want to call him Adoree, I'll call him Adoree. It's Madore, Madari, whatever. But
it sounds so charming, doesn't it? Adoree.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Remember last year, New England kind of stumbled through a lot of the late in season. Everybody was questioning Indianapolis was going there. A lot of people had Indianapolis going to make a run. Guess what happened? Patriots, playoff time, turned it on and go all the way to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. Now this year, Patriots lose the last game. So, yes, they've lost 4 games. Guess what? The other 3 losses, all the AFC other playoff teams. So if you throw that one loss out, this Patriots team has had 3 quality losses against the Titans team in a short week having to travel. I'm going to take the Patriots here -5. I don't bet against Bill Belichick when it comes playoff time. If I wouldn't like the game, I would play the total. You don't make money betting against Bill Belichick.
Oh, Trapp, so tedious, just a bandwagon favorite. Look at you, Trapp. Come on, isn't it time someone knocked these guys off their pedestal? Isn't it?
Well,
Tellez.
It is, but not this year.
Well, 12-4 is a good record, but I'm gonna go butt heads here with Craig. I'm gonna take Tennessee plus the 5 because if this game lands 4 or 3, you win no matter who wins this game, and I think it can be a close game here. We talked about the Patriots, failing to cover 4 of their past 5, that loss at home to Miami. One thing that concerned me is how the defense looked. The defense looked very slow to react to Miami's plays, and that's really what got me concerned here. The offense for the Patriots, not very good. They're actually, when you look at them in red zone and in third down, lower half of the league, which means the defense on the field a little longer. Maybe the defense already starting to wear out. They gave up a season high in yardage to Miami, 389 yards last week, 327 in the passing game. And, of course, Ryan Tannehill, since he took over for Marcus Mariota, he's completing 70% of his passes, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's on a free roll. He came in it with no pressure on him. They got him in the playoffs. I think he's assured of the starting job next year. So this is all gravy for him. I don't think he's going to feel as much pressure as he would if he was a starter coming into the season. But you look at Brady's completion rate, just 61%, 6.6 yards per pass attempt. We know the Titans, they're going to be a very confident bunch here. They blew out New England at home last year, 34-10, and they ran all over them for 150 yards. Derrick Henry does a good job running the football. The Titans are averaging 5 yards per rush. And, of course, that's going to complement Tannehill, who's been accurate this season. Again, the game could land 3. It could land 4. You win no matter who wins. Give me the 5 with Tennessee.
All right, you got it. Let's move along. Next AFC wildcard game. Again, this is Saturday. Bills at Texans. The Bills 10-6, 9-6-1 against the spread, coming off a loss to the Jets, where they rested most of their starters. In fact, both of these teams did a lot of starter resting in their last regular season game. They're 10-6 straight up, 6-11 against the spread on the road, hitting the under in 12 of the last 15 on the road. The Bills' rushing offense will meet the Texans' 25th ranked rushing defense. Wonder if that's telling us something there. Could be. The Texans 10-6, 7-8 and 1 against the spread. They're only 2-6 against the spread at home. Opposing off. This is a horrible stat. You don't like to see this, particularly if you're a fan. Well, if you're a fan, you don't like to see this. Opposing offenses converted 48.5% of third downs, 71.4% of red zone trips into touchdowns. That's bottom of the league, and that's not opposing offenses. If you're a fan, that's just offensively opposing. Total has gone under in 6 of the last 9. Texans, though, 2.5-point home favorites, 42.5 points. That's a field goal, guys. Who do we start with last? You, Trapp? Tell you what, let's go with you, Tellez.
All right, Nick, this is my best play from the wild card round. Pick it up right now at picksandparlays.net.
Oh, you teaser, you. Okay, Craig, fire away.
I actually see the total actually has moved up to 44 in this one, and I kind of like the total when it was at 42.5. So you're giving me the extra. I like the under here. I think this Bills defense is one of the best defenses in the league. I think they're going to run the ball to protect, to keep Watson and that good passing offense of the Texans off the field. I think the under is a solid play here. Let's also remember, if you're going to play the side in this one, the Bills this year 6-0 on the road against the spread. So if I was going to play this one on the side, I definitely would play the Bills. That's hard to ignore. But I think the much stronger play, let's play the under 44. Probably going to be one of my best plays of the day on Saturday. So make sure you check out, of course, all of our best bets over at picksandparlays.net as well.
All right. This is NFL Rapid Fire. I'm your host, Nick Geber, along with Tony Comandante, El Tigre, and Craig, El Guapo Trapp. Let's talk Sunday's NFC wildcard games. Let's start with the Seahawks versus Eagles. Both teams here, guys, injury disasters. The Seahawks cooled off considerably since that 8-1 run, which included a preview of this wildcard game, beating the Eagles 17-9 at Lincoln Field. They've gone 1-3 since that and have almost a full team of injuries to go along with it. 7-1 straight up, 5-2-1 against the spread away. The Eagles 9-7, 7-9 against the spread. They've won the last 4 in a row, so they're on a bit of a heater right now. 5-3 straight up, 3-5 against the spread at home. They also have that extensive injury list that I mentioned. Total has gone under in 5 of the 6 games versus the Seahawks. And Seattle at 1.5 points, guys. It's basically, it's basically a pick 'em, right? Total 46. Craig, let's go with you.
Well, when you look at Seattle, I mean, they were 2 inches from hosting and having a bye, and they come up just short. Now they have to travel. At least they don't play on Saturday because going from, of course, Seattle to Philly, that is not an easy trip. But they get the break here playing on Sunday. I think the Seattle's still the play here. I just don't believe in this Eagles team. I don't know what's wrong with them. The only reason they're in the playoffs is because they played in the worst division in football. I mean, even the Cowboys couldn't muster much, to get over 500. I think the Seattle is the play. I think they play in a much tougher division. They had some great quality wins, and they were great on the road this year. So let's take the Seattle Seahawks. I see it even at 1, so make sure you shop this line around. But we'll call it 1.5. I'll still lay the -1.5 here with a very good Seattle team.
All right, no teasing, Tellez. You have a play on here, or don't speak at all. You're up next.
Yeah, I got one. I'm going to butt heads again with Craig here. You can find 2s as well. I'll take the Eagles here plus the points. Look, when the division was on the line, the Eagles took care of business, winning 4 straight games down the stretch. Okay, they got that 17-9 win to Dallas in Week 16. During this win streak, the Eagles, their defense, no one's talking about it, but they've held teams to 17 points a game. Seattle's lost 3 of their past 4 as they lose back-to-back home games to the Cardinals and 49ers. Seahawks defense not in good form right now. Past 3 games, giving up 400 yards. They just lost a linebacker to an ACL injury to add to their problems. Seahawks, they were hit hard with injuries at the running back, losing all 3 starters. They patched it up with players from the practice squad and retirement. Eagles, their offense, better form right now. Past 3 games, averaging 415 yards per game. This kind of reminds me of when the Colts went through a lot of receiver injuries, and Peyton Manning was still put up good numbers. Carson Wentz put up great numbers in the month of December, throwing to a bunch of practice squad guys. 66% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, a pick. Look at the Seahawks defense, 26 in the red zone. But the Eagles defense, season long, has been pretty good on 3rd down, ranking 4th best. And despite all their injuries, they've held to being 4th best on 3rd down, 3rd best in the red zone. Despite all these injuries, Carson Wentz is going to get it done. I'm going to take the Eagles here plus the 2.
All right, guys, 1 game left, 3 minutes. The Vikings at the Saints. Minnesota 10-6, 9-7 against the spread. The Saints 13-3, 11-5 against the spread, and also 17-1 against the spread against teams with more than 3 people named Deshaun on the team. Okay, let's go with you first, Trapp. Go.
Well, this is actually my NFL game of the week and wildcard weekend. I think this one comes down to, can the Vikings offensive line protect the quarterback? If they can't, we saw it against Green Bay. This team has no shot. But when the games that they protected the quarterback, they had some really nice wins this year. And I got the answer for you. Go over to picksandparlays.net and check it out.
All right. Tony, I bet you could be a little bit more verbose than that.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the points with Minnesota plus 8. Remember, Dalvin Cook was not in that game against the Packers, and it looks like he's going to play. He's telling everyone he's going to play. He's missed 2 weeks to recover. He's got the recovery from that shoulder injury. And of course, he's the key here for the Vikings rushing attack that's averaging 4.5 yards a carry. That can open up the passing game for veteran Kirk Cousins, who's completed 69% of his passes, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks. The Vikings have been really good in the red zone, second best in the league. That run pass can work. But I'm going to give you something here that's interesting here. The Saints defense. Now, one thing to note in the playoffs, I like to look at how the teams do against other playoff teams. The Saints defense against playoff teams this season gave up nearly 400 yards to the Titans, 516 yards to the 49ers, over 500 to the Seahawks, over 400 to the Texans. Vikings will generate enough offense to cover this big number. I'm going to take the Vikings here plus the 8.
Vikings plus the 8. In fact, that's expanded a bit because it was 7.5, so it's shifted, huh?
Yeah.
Has shifted a little bit. Yes, it has.
And the total is still 48.5, or has it moved? I'm so 2019, guys. I'm sorry. I'm old school.
Yeah, I think it's at 50 now. I see this total at 50.
Yeah.
And, I think that has a lot to do with this New Orleans team. The last, 6-7 weeks, they've had some really big numbers they've put up, and at home, too. So I wouldn't, if you're going to play the over in this one, you better jump on it. I think you missed out on some 48s or 48.5s early in the week.
All right, guys.
Yeah, and also Cook's status is making the difference, too, with the running back from Minnesota playing.
Dalvin Cook is probable. He is going to play. That's what I have here.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, when you're probable in a playoff game, you're going to usually play.
Yeah, for sure you're going to play. Yeah. It's like, what is the opposite of yes? Well, we'll see, right? If you're a kid. Anyway.
Questionable. Doubtful.
All right, guys. Always a pleasure. Very quickly, Craig, what do we have up on the site right now, picksandparlays.net, that could titillate our viewers and listeners?
Well, of course, you can always go over and get our best individual plays, but the best is always playing long-term subscriptions. Go over to your favorite capper, or if you go underneath the Premium Picks tab, click on the 2-for-1 tab. You can get 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, 2 cappers for just a little more than what you can purchase 1 capper. And, of course, use that 15% off bowl. Last few days of that 15% off promo code, use that promo code bowl. That'll save you 15% off anything on the website.
All right, Craig, Tony, thanks so much. Great picks. Can't wait for these wildcard games. All right, coming up, we're going to talk a little college basketball and the famous Idaho Potato Bowl with none other than Chicken Dinner Chirimbes. Be right back. Hey, welcome back to Picks and Parlays here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network, also streaming live YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm your host, Nick Geber. That right there is my Twitter handle, @Nick Geber. I say right there because if you're listening to us on the radio, you can figure out that we're streaming live video on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. All right, I promised you we would bring in Chip Chirimbes for some college basketball and a big bowl game. Chipper, how was your new year? We don't have any sound on him. Maybe we can get some. No, I don't hear him. Do we have him yet? No? We do now. Okay, let's hear. Oh dear, it's not much of a bowl game. We don't have Chip Chirimbes, so why don't we step aside, take a break, and we'll be right back. We'll get our technical stuff fixed, and we'll be right back after this.